Lesson 29. Our new word here is spectat, and spectat is the third-person singular form of specto. And as you can see, the meaning of this word is he watches, he does watch, or he is watching. But our new word here, spectat, is very similar to the word est, because sometimes we will not need the word he. Sometimes it will just mean watches or watching without the word he. Let's look down below the chart and go through that together. Here I say that the word spectat is similar to est. And let's look at an example here. Nauta stellas spectat. In this little example sentence, the word nauta is the subject, and spectat is the verb, and stellas is our direct object. So it means the sailor is watching the stars. So you see, in this sentence, the word nauta is the subject, so we do not need to use the word he that's included in spectat. So we leave out the word he, and we translate the sentence as, the sailor is watching the stars. Then in our next example, stellas spectat, we see an example of a sentence that has no other word to be the subject, so we will need to use the word he that's included in spectat. So our sentence is stellas spectat. When you look at the word stellas, you immediately know that it cannot be the subject of the sentence because it has the direct object plural ending, the as ending. So the subject here is the he in spectat. So spectat is he is watching, and then stellas is our direct object, stars. So this sentence is he is watching the stars. So you see, spectat is just like est because you have to figure out whether or not you need the word he. If there's no other word to be the subject, then you use the word he that's included in spectat, but if the subject of the sentence is another word, then that's the subject, and you do not need to use the word he. And the last thing I say at the bottom is that spectat can also mean she is watching or it is watching, because the third person singular covers he, she, and it. But right now, for the sake of simplicity and ease of learning, we're just using he. But as we get more advanced, we'll use she and it as our knowledge of Latin grammar improves. Okay, let's take a look at our exercises. In the first one, we have spectat, and that's he is watching, and lunam is the direct object singular form of luna, which means moon. So number one is he is watching the moon. In number two, spectat is our verb, which means he is watching, but the subject of the sentence is nauta, so we do not need the word he. We just leave out the word he, and the subject is the sailor, and the direct object is stellas, which is stars. So number two is the sailor is watching the stars. In number three, we have two direct objects connected by the word et, and there's no other word to be the subject, so we do need the word he that's included in spectat. So we'll translate spectat as he is watching. So number three will be he is watching the stars and the moon. Number four, the subject is agricola and the verb is spectat. We don't need to use the word he that's included in spectat because the subject is agricola. Spectat is being negated by the word non, and our direct object is stellas, which is the direct object plural form of stella. So number four is the farmer is not watching the stars. Number five, again the subject is agricola, and our direct object is nautam. And again, we do not need the word he included in spectat because agricola is the subject. So number five is the farmer is watching the sailor. In number six, we notice that the word lunam ends with am, so we know that it cannot be the subject. Instead, the subject is you because our verb is spectas. So number six is you are watching the moon. Number seven, we have the word et being used twice to mean both and we have two direct objects. Notice that poetam and agricolam both have the am ending. And specto, of course, means I am watching. So number 7 is I am watching both the poet and the farmer. In number 8, estis means y'all are. It's for when you're talking to more than one person, and that's being negated by the word non. So non estis means y'all are not, and our predicate is agricolae. So number 8 is y'all are not farmers. In number 9, we have the word est, and there's no other word to be the subject, so we need to use the word he that's included in est. So the subject is he, and the word agricola is our predicate. So number 9 is he is a farmer. In number 10, we do not need to use the word they included in sunt because nautai is the subject. So here in number 10 we have subject, verb, predicate. The sailors are poets.